I can't believe the emergency rations don't include beer. Fucking thirsty. Man, I never thought I'd be working in the executive sector. Look at me now, Ma.
I'll see you later.
You know where I'll be.
Pope is now head of research. It's official.
Where are the files on the parasitic entities I asked for? I found a couple of relevant files and got
Right. Elevator. Duh.
Welcome back, Director.
Darkness engulfed the elevator. There was something there, reaching for her,
Wake.
trying to make her act. It was a distress call. Phaeton sensed a drowning man, a hunger in the dark. Investigation sector.
Investigation sector, huh? We should check this out.
Darkness engulfed the elevator. There was something there. A presence. Jesse Phaeton could hear it. A call. It was faint, reaching for her from a dark place. Phaeton was sensitive to visitations. She had them all the time. From her guiding star and the previous director. She was the perfect receiver. As if she'd been made for this. Phaeton paused to feel it. The force at play here. It was changing things around her, subtle, trying to make her act. Phaeton didn't like that. Her guide felt it too. Polaris didn't flare up in defense as with the hiss. So it wasn't all bad. Not a hostile transmission. It was powerful, but it was coming from far away. And made weak because of the distance. It was a distress call. Phaeton sensed a drowning man. A man desperate to escape. She sensed something else too. A hunger in the dark. Not unlike the hostile resonance. Waiting. She knew that desperate acts can have grim consequences. It was this, more than the man's despair, that made her follow the call. The elevator lights went back on. The darkness receded like a memory. There was a new button on the elevator control panel. Investigation sector. Phaeton pressed the button. The elevator doors slid shut with practiced bravado.
Anyone here? Guess not.
Mr. Kirkland, here are the latest agents confirmed missing, presumed dead from the containment breach yesterday. Agent Jonathan Connor, Researcher Ezra Cruz, Agent Caroline Dempsey, Agent Lindsay Malcolm, Agent Charles Murray, Agent Derek Shaw. Letters of condolence will be delivered to you to sign prior to sending them to their families. You will be updated as soon as additional confirmations are made. As per your request, a network engineer checked how many cases were backed up digitally. Unfortunately, a large number of active investigations were not archived yet, and the only hard copies of reports exist behind the firebreak. They're lost, I'm afraid.
Seems a lot more crowded than the rest of the bureau.
See, I don't want spin. I'll take shatter. Darling investigation. Per authorization from Mr. Kirkland, internal investigation was launched into the ethical practices of Dr. Casper Darling, head of research. Despite accounts of anonymous blank regarding inhumane treatment of a blank currently housed in the Bureau, our official findings regarding this were inconclusive. Numerous obstacles arose during this investigation. The majority of blank sector personnel seems to be wholly unaware of any such blank contained there. One blank confirmed blank's codenamed to be blank, but all files pertaining to that name were inaccessible, being classified under the highest clearance level. Investigators were similarly blocked from entering the blank research wing to interview its staff. The matter was further complicated by the lack of clarity on whether non-human paranatural entities warrant humane treatment. While this investigation cannot address any charges against Dr. Darling, we do recommend an investigation into blank research. Mr. Dennis, a request came through recently from an FBI agent asking for all our files on Bright Falls, specifically on the disappearance of the author Alan Wake. Per the Interagency Information Exchange Agreement, I had some paper pushers gather up a folder of all the pre-approved files. Don't worry, all the inappropriate material is either missing or redacted. But I'm writing to let you know that we received this request from a special agent named Alex Casey. Sounds familiar, right? That's because Alex Casey is the name of the fictional detective in those hard-boiled crime books Alan Wake wrote. Pretty interesting that an FBI agent sharing a name with the most famous character Wake wrote is looking into a case dealing with a writer's fiction coming true. I think this is worth looking into, but what's your opinion? I'll just give the word and I'll start surveillance on this guy. Gleason. Tractor supplement. Burrow Tractor. Miscommunication led to a local coroner examining the body of William Burrow. Male Caucasian, 33-year-old man found dead on his property per police report. Remains obtained for coroner's office also include blood, urine, bile, stomach contents, and bone fragments. Findings. Blunt force injuries to the head, lacerations on the left ear and cheek, blunt force injuries on the extremities, dislocation on the right knee, complete avulsion of the upper extremity with associated fractures of the proximal right humerus, excessive trauma, abdominal region, complete avulsion of multiple organs, including stomach, heart, liver, pancreas, kidneys, and portions of the large and small intestine, all missing from scene. Conclusion is my opinion that Mr. Burrow's death is not the result of a mechanical accident as claimed by authorities. The removal of organs is consistent with animal attack. Resignation letter. Let's Excellency, to whom it may concern, it is with great anger and regret that I tender my resignation as head of investigations for the Federal Bureau of Control. I do this in protest of the rampant disregard for my department's blank. My staff cannot continue to work in these conditions. Previous requests and warnings have fallen on deaf ears, so I must now rely on my actions to speak louder than my words ever could. I blame the situation on our blank, who has routinely ignored my request for assistance in reclaiming the parts of the investigations sector lost to the blank loose inside. I will never forget the screams of brave agents begging for us to open that firebreak. I will carry that shame for the rest of my days. The blank has failed as his agents. I shall never forgive him for that. Sincerely, Kirkland.
It's not working. Probably a loose power core somewhere.
Lots of stuff to read around here. Trench official warning. Kirkland, I'm growing tired of your blatant attempts to lay your incompetence at my doorstep. I know you want this to be true, but you are head of investigations. This failure is your responsibility. What did you think would happen holding a dangerous specimen investigations? The containment sector exists for a reason. They are better trained and better equipped for this type of work. In fact, they have admirably taken on certain AWE monitoring responsibilities that your staff are no longer capable of. This happens more and more now. Don't think your petty internal investigations have gone past my notice. You are a worm. Everything I've done has been for the benefit of the Bureau. Prime Candidate program only failed because of Darling. You're both failures plotting against me. You are traitors, but the truth will emerge out of you. You are choosing to become my enemy, Kirkland. You don't want to be. Trench. Per authorization from Mr. Kirkland, blank was launched into the blank of Director Zachariah Trench. Oh. A recent change in blank witnessed in Director Trench, including aggressive blank when blank with other staff, has been observed. However, this investigation is aimed at interpreting this issue rather than proving it. Notable blank between Director Trench and Dr. Darling has been witnessed by numerous Bureau staff. Although both declined to meet for an interview on the matter, witness accounts suggest that their arguments center around the Dimensional Research Wing and the blank kept inside. However, no evidence exists to confirm Director Trench's blank is anything more than interpersonal disagreements. This investigation has concluded that Director Trench's behavior is not indicative of any blank and that his fitness to lead is not in question. Underhill background. Dr. Raya Underhill is a professor at the University of Woodrow in the United Kingdom, where she teaches biology with a focus on botany. Dr. Underhill once worked with the Bureau as a parabotanist stationed in the research sector of the oldest house. She served with no incidents of demerits and is praised by those who formerly worked with her, including Dr. Darling. Dr. Underhill has no known connections to paracriminal organizations or any record of breaching her NDAs since leaving the Bureau. Her civilian behavior has been ideal with the exception of an ongoing personal relationship with Dr. Darling that appears to have begun during their time as co-workers in the research sector and revisited intermittently ever since. Depending on the duration of her work in the oldest house, it may be required to have both parties sign a relationship clearance form. This investigation has found no compelling reason to deny Dr. Darling's request to offer Dr. Underhill an interim position with the aim of finding a solution to the mold threshold issue. Right, that's what I thought she was. Trying to get through. Launch speed. To Chief Investigator Dennis. It happened again, third time this year. Something certainly has it out for our blank. Could be raccoons. The locals certainly complain about them enough, but why the hell would raccoons keep going after a monitoring station? Doesn't add up. Anyway, I've got a bureau tech going to the site next week to take a look. Next on the list of recurring problems is the staff at the Lake House Research Station. How am I supposed to effectively keep an eye on blank lake if they won't let me see any data? Hell, I don't even know what they're researching out there. We need to petition them again to share their information with investigations agents. It's only a matter of time before this blank hits again, and I want to be prepared. Anyway, if anyone at HQ asks why the Bright Falls report is a little thin this month, tell them it's because we couldn't take any readings. In the meantime, I might invest in some new raccoon traps. Sincerely, Estevez. Staffing issue. Mr. Dennis, so yes, there's an increase in AWE cases, and yes, it would be a good idea to put together a special task force to examine exactly why that is. However, it seems that a tiny little detail has slipped through the cracks. We don't have the damn staff. If you expect us to detect, investigate, and process more AWE cases, you need to give us more people. It's simple math. Between the staff we lost in the Hartman thing and the ones who left for other departments after Kirkland quit, we're barely managing to keep up with the workload. Hell, just filing the paperwork for all the altered items we left behind in the sector has been an ordeal. Another thing, and this is going to sound paradoxical, but we have an overcrowding situation. This lobby isn't meant to accommodate a whole sector's worth of staff. We put forward a motion to move investigations to a more suitable location months ago. It better not be sitting on your desk. The people are getting restless, and as Kirkland's interim replacement, it's your job to handle it. Regards, Grayson. Ethics investigation. Per authorization from Mr. Kirkland, internal investigation was launched into the legality of a prime candidate program by the Federal Bureau of Control. Since all known subjects relevant to the investigation used executive privilege to decline interviews, very little first-hand information was gathered. However, anonymous sources and documentation declassified by Mr. Kirkland both paint an alarmingly clear picture of systemic blank and blank. Blank were brought into the oldest house and placed under blank examination and testing with the aim of appointing one as director upon maturity. This program has produced no successful cases and only resulted in the traumatic blank of paranaturally inclined blank. Not only is this in breach of the Ash Act, but it flies in the face of basic human blank. This investigation team unequivocally blanks the prime candidate program and recommends that it be blank immediately. Tractor procedures. Item is not in Bureau custody, none known. A Frank Elk tractor. Olive green. Dried blood on the grill when last seen. Item is capable of vocalized responses, or growls, and unmanned locomotion. Considered highly aggressive and dangerous. The item first came to the Bureau's attention after the death of William Burrow, owner of Burrow Farm outside of Trenton, Texas. Local authorities arrived on the scene after an employee found the mutilated body of Mr. Burrow beneath his tractor. Police arrived, but were immediately driven away by the tractor. Panic calls to federal authorities were intercepted by Bureau communications staff. A team was dispatched. Upon arrival, the agents approached the item. It responded by growling like a bear. 3 agents were injured when they tried to detain the item, which escaped. Aerial searches for the item are ongoing. Speaking to Mr. Burrow only revealed that Mrs. Burrow revealed that she had a domestic altercation with Mr. Burrow earlier the night of the incident. Whether these events are connected is currently unknown.
Now that gate should open.
Perfect. The purpose of internal investigation X397 is to examine the containment failure of specimen SI1 that resulted in the death of blank agents. An inspection report of the containment equipment 3 days earlier showed no faults. Investigators suspect human error to be the cause, yet no department has provided any evidence to support this. Technicians were able to recover the researchers' notes on the specimen from the internal network. On the blank of blank, the specimen began displaying a sharp increase in aggressive blank. Cross-referencing that date with various logs found that only 2 events inconsistent with the sector's daily routine. The air filters were changed, and an hour prior to the incident, a civilian named Alice Blank entered the sector regarding an unrelated investigation. Given their connection to the same AWE case, it's likely that Mrs. Blank's presence is relevant to the specimen's escape and to the blank. Investigation is ongoing. Around. No.
I'm no detective, but something definitely happened here.
Blessed organization. This group individual has operated outside of the Bureau's notice for decades, perhaps longer, displaying a level of skill and caution rarely seen in paracriminal groups. A review of past cases has found various mentions of their activity over the years. In 2016, a production company called Blessed Pictures was connected to an altered item case, as well as the death of an agent from exposure to illicit paranatural materials. In 1994, a LA-based public speaker named Chester Bless was involved in illegal use of an altered item. In 1988, a business called Blessed Repair and Service was suspected of involvement with an object of power case, perhaps even creating it. None of these businesses or individuals have ever been located. However, their connection to appearances of altered items and objects of power is too direct to be considered circumstantial. An arrest order has been issued for any persons believed to be involved with the Blessed organization. Alright. Click. Click. Click.
Do we know each other? This feels familiar. I can't seem to... I've forgotten it. I'm sorry. My name is Alan Wake. Who are you? Who are you? Do I know you?
I'm your friend Tom. Tom Zane. There's nothing to worry about.
Tom. The poet. The diver. You look different.
That was just a role. A character. The protagonist I played in my old film. I'm a filmmaker. An auteur like yourself. We're working on this together, remember? An artistic collaboration. You need a drink. Keep this.
Endless darkness. Nothing holds still.
We're very close now. You've been writing. You found a way to escape. It'll work this time.
Writing?
You found a way!
No. I don't... Wait. There's something. It's my double. He's out there. I've seen it.
Yeah. Nothing to worry about. I'm dealing with it. It's fine, my friend. Let me handle him.
You've met him? What the hell?
Now, come on. You misunderstand me.
That was Alan Wake, the writer who went missing in that AWE case I read about. What's he doing here? And Thomas Zane was with him. The poet. No, wait. He was a filmmaker. I always remember that wrong.
Ah.
Dr. Emil Hartman, devoured by hungry darkness, became the thing that had been Hartman. Broke loose, killed everyone it could, lurking, roaming, waiting. Then something else came, a resonance. The thing that had been Hartman went through another change. Dr. Emil Hartman was desperate. The Federal Bureau of Control had stolen his life's work. This was his last chance, his final experiment. What he'd been too scared to do before. Hartman dove into the lake, was taken, devoured by hungry darkness, became the thing that had been Hartman. Only an echo of him remained, fragmented impulses on autoplay, violent, bloodthirsty darkness in the driver's seat. Emerging from the lake, the thing was captured by the FBC, brought in, contained, studied. The thing broke loose, killed everyone it could. The FBC fell back and sealed the sector. The thing was alone in the dark, lurking, roaming, waiting. Then something else came. Not darkness, but similar enough. A sound. A resonance. It shouldn't be a surprise. If there's one, why not another? The darkness inside the thing could have been immune, could have resisted, fought, could have been passed by, passed through with no effect. But it didn't, and it wasn't. Maybe it had grown weaker over time, not aged. It was timeless. A weaker with no link to its source. A metamorphosis followed. The thing that had been Hartman went through another change.
Click. Click. Yep, that's where I gotta go. Oh boy. Ugh.
Creepy, damp, and abandoned.
Investigation.
Why did Wake want me to come here?
This looks like a good sized place. Shaded facet. Okay. Oh boy.
That doesn't look like a house shift. Do
This
I
is
even
trippy.
wanna know?
Oof. Ow. Come here.
course, the hiss are already in here.
Hartman arrest. Let's see. Offender, Hartman Emil. Victim names, Alan Wake, Anderson Tor, Anderson Odin, Rudolph Lane, Wendy Soul, charges, kidnapping, sanctions against altered organizations, obstruction of investigation, breaching the Ash Act. Offender's property seized as evidence to be used in conjunction with an ongoing AWE investigation. Offender's personal effects have been sent to research for analysis. After being cleared by Bureau researchers, all victims have been released. Biannual surveillance orders were assigned to each, except the Anderson brothers due to their senility and Wake possibly deceased. Nope. Yeah. Foot gossip. Hello, my feet gossip at night, and now I have to wear shoes to bed. Sincerely, me. Okay.
Whoa. Looks like the house has gotten a little wild in here.
Oh.
This darkness is blocking the door. So now I have to deal with an interdimensional noise and sentient shadows. Light burns it away, huh? Makes sense.
Surge. Surge fires adhesive munitions that detonate when manually triggered or if their timer expires. Huh. Interesting. Don't think I have enough for anything yet. 4 melee damage. Okay, damage against enemy armor. Ah, okay. Neat.
The third thing. The sound made darker, the darkness made louder. The resonance carves its way through the thing that had been Artman, vibrating, remolding. The sound changes the darkness, and the darkness changes the sound. They both changed what remained of Artman. They all turned into something else. The third thing. The sound made darker. The darkness made louder. Hartman was stretched. Stretched as anyone when seen from out of time, like a worm through time. Almost an Ouroboros, a spiral, a maelstrom. The gravity well of a black hole, twisting inward, tightening, taking you deeper and deeper to the bottom, the heart, and through to the other side. The third thing said, when you hear this, you will know you're a new you. He said, we build you till nothing remains. He said, under the conceptual reality, behind this reality, you must want these ways to drag you away. He said, baby, 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 yeah, orange peel. The third thing was a monster. He'd tear apart any ordinary person crossing his path. Now he crashed out of darkness toward Faden. There was nothing ordinary about Faden.
Oh boy. Big thing a coming.
Hartman was stretched like a worm through time. The third thing was a monster. Now he crashed out of darkness toward Faden.
Interrogation complaint. Kirkland, so you put me on desk duty just because I did the thing I was fucking hired to do? My job? Want to know what I call that? Bullshit. Asking us to interrogate these scum without using words like altered items or AWEs or paracriminal is the stupidest thing I've heard in my life, and I've heard some fucking stupid things. They already know the facts. Hell, they know just as much as us, if not more. And they can sit there laughing at us while we dance around our words, trying not to leak classified terminology. They already know the fucking terminology. If you think pulling me off the case will stop me, then think again. That piece of shit blew up those tracks. He killed those people, all to make a train turn altered. We have him dead to rights, and you need to let me back in that interrogation cell so I can get him to flip on his buddies. These people are terrorists and deserve to be treated as such. This won't stop unless we stop them. You can go ahead and put me on suspension, see if that slows me down. Hewitt.
Agent Fisher, day 6 inside the motel. Utilized surveillance methods are as follows. Fiber optic cameras lit under the individual room doors. Motion detectors in the lobby area. Tripwire, triggering a flash camera across the main entrance using fingerprint powder on the front deck. Results are very best. Mostly just inconclusive and unusable. The footage is corrupted, sometimes even the equipment. I don't know how, exactly. I think this place is making fun of me. That's the only explanation. I can hear them laughing and screaming behind the closed doors. I can hear the call bell going ding multiple times a day, but when I look, there's no one. I know I'm supposed to stay out of sight, but I've seen the doors closing just before I can catch even a glimpse of anyone or anything. They're messing with me, whoever they are. I think... Wait, shh. There's something. I gotta get this. Gotta get the cable out. Come on, you fiber optic fuck, cooperate. Okay, there we go. All right. I think I might have finally caught one. Ha! The recorder better work this time or I swear to God I'll... What? Hello? Who's there? Oh, shit. I'm with the FBC. Move away from the door. I have a... Where's my...
Lads here have died standing up. Lighten them up.
Ah, more plants. Alright, let's go make some new friends.
It's getting bad. The vents, they are full of mold shit. It's not food for you. Headache, nausea, mold, depression. How can you tell when you are in? Nykyiset saatan päästä eroon. Darkness everywhere. New day, same old bloody city, said the old way. Like Dharma good for nothing. Get rid of it.
Black market. A black market hub specializing in the trade of occult talismans, relics, and other assorted ceremonial objects, as well as genuine altered and paranatural materials, was raided in blank Czech Republic by a team of special investigators. Unsuccessful attempts by suspects to escape using altered items resulted in numerous casualties and prevented the Bureau from questioning all participants. The following interrogations reveal that not only is there a vast network of these retailers, but they seem to be gathering information on altered items and other paranatural materials from sources unknown to the Bureau. The Bureau's concern here is threefold. A. There's a growing underground market for paranatural materials, which implies a growing awareness of their existence among a niche group of the general public. B. These criminals do not seem aware of the item's paranatural powers, and their attempts to activate them could prove devastating if done in populated areas. C. The motivations of these collectors are largely unknown. NASA Cooperation Review. Following the NASA FBC Coordination Agreement of 1972, the Bureau has provided NASA with numerous technological advancements based on our research, including the black rock lining now found in all spacefaring vessels. In return, all data gathered during space missions is made available for Bureau researchers to analyze. Recently, certain individuals have raised the concern that this relationship does not adequately benefit the Bureau, either intellectually or financially. A thorough examination of the costs accrued by both organizations has shown that the expense of NASA's recent launch of the blank far outweighs any spending related to processing and delivering of black rock. From its medium Earth orbit, the blank will provide the Bureau with an unparalleled resource for remotely monitoring and photographing AWE sites, a resource that would be lost if the partnership ends. It is the opinion of this committee that maintaining a cooperative relationship with our colleagues at NASA is of vital importance. Eagle Limited Summary. A train derailment resulting in 62 casualties and numerous injuries was suspected to have been the work of para-criminal group known as Blank. As a result of this event, the agents discovered that one of the cars had become altered with a persistent auditory event. It remains to be determined whether the AWE was spontaneous or the direct result of the sabotage. The Bureau had been tracking said group at the time, and the intel gathered suggested an event of this caliber was imminent in Bloomington. As a result, a response team on site was able to respond to the train accident within minutes of its occurrence. They arrived to find emergency processes underway, but also equipment left behind by the suspected group. A suspicious onlooker managed to elude agents after they attempted to make contact. Further investigation of the accident site revealed a curiously undamaged train car that exhibited an altered state when entered. This individual car was secured and transported to the investigation sector for further studies.
My understanding of the darkness is fragmented, incomplete. This abyss, this void, it very much does not wish to be understood. If light symbolizes knowledge, then it stands to reason that darkness represents ignorance. By its very nature, it abhors comprehension. Of course, my own nature drives me to comprehend all. We are opposing forces, destined to collide. And given this conflict of natures, we know that the light of truth will burn away the darkness, both figuratively and literally. Any significant light source can be used as protection, even weaponry against this metaphysical gloom. And then there are the artists. I know for a fact that Tom, Wake, the Anderson brothers, and Lane all had some involvement with the darkness. The question is whether their uncanny ability to affect reality through their art beckons the darkness, or did their work perhaps even create it? With Wake now secure in my lodge, I expect I shall grow closer to learning the answers to these questions. Assuming he cooperates, which is proving quite the challenge. Well, perseverance is the foundation of knowledge. Speaking of, I must be off on my rounds.
Oh boy. Before the fight, let's read one last thing. The Shadow. Paranatural entity, the Shadow, is an aggressive blank consisting of 3 known types. A. Localized manifestations of sentient blank capable of occupying organic and inorganic material as well as exerting blank over its surroundings. Shaded individuals. Human bodies blank by the shadow. These individuals become notably more aggressive but do seem to retain blank of their previous selves. Research is ongoing as to whether this condition is reversible. Shaded objects, similar to Type B, except that inanimate objects are blank solely to be used as destructive tools. Each type seems to work toward a shared goal, possibly targeting certain individuals, which may imply a shared link to a blank intelligence. The threat this entity poses warrants immediate exploration of offensive-defensive measures. The investigation sector is being outfitted with additional lighting sources, some internally powered to prepare for the eventuality of a blank. Whoop. Yeah.
Reminder, all employees are required to report their hours at the end of each month. The Federal Bureau of Control maintains that time is not subjective, and hours passed on alternative planes cannot be claimed. Astral dives do not accumulate overtime compensation. Thank you for your attention.
Damn bureaucracy. Don't see any plants here. This them? Okay.
There you go. Doesn't that feel better? Welcome back to the land of the living, little buddy.
There we go. Okay. There are different plants back here. Aha. There we go. Whew. Okay. Alright. Let's... There's two. Oh, why is it so hard to find a plant? Doesn't seem to be any of these ones. Aha! Right in front of me, like always. Okay. Okay, so... Perfect. I haven't been in any of these yet. Okay.
I don't feel right. Something in this darkness is draining me.
Stand in the light. Got it. Whoops. Whoa, whoa. Vending machine. Let's see. This subgroup of Hiss corrupted rangers has manifested the ability to levitate similarly to Hiss elevated agents. However, these airborne Hiss rangers display no telekinetic abilities and simply continue to use mundane Bureau weaponry. This evolution, being so similar to the elevated, possibly indicates that Hiss can share permutations through a type of network or perhaps osmosis. However, the fact that this development in Hiss rangers has only been observed in the investigation sector may indicate that an environmental factor is responsible. They could be responding to an altered item or other paranatural element found only in the sector. Or perhaps that this is the natural progression of the Hiss ranger phenotype. not enough time has passed to determine a conclusive trajectory of development for each of his manifestations, assuming any such trajectory exists. Dr. Emil Hartman is an academic psychotherapist that owned and operated a recovery center in Blank, WA, focused on the treatment of artists struggling with creative blocks and other mental disorders. Publicly, Dr. Hartman's treatment center seemed unremarkable in its methods and purpose. Privately, however, Dr. Hartman was abusing his patients in order to utilize any latent Blank abilities they may possess with the ape of shaming Blank to his own benefit, which has earned him a Class 2 paracriminal designation. Note for more on the link between artists and their ability to blank reality through artistic mediums, see file blank. Investigation has proven that Dr. Hartman's illegal endeavors were conducted alone. After being approached by the Bureau during the blank investigation, he displayed no remorse or intention to cease his actions. Dr. Hartman was taken into custody, evaluated, and released blank months later, having been deemed a negligible threat. His medical license has been permanently revoked. Vending machine. No containment procedures. A vending machine, its front covered in a faux wooden panel. Coin-operated buttons for selecting food products. The item generates and stores a variety of material, both edible and otherwise, in its rows of internal trays. Initial testing suggests the item reacts to the mind of the individual in closest proximity and will produce whatever they subconsciously desire. Attempts to cause the item to create a living blank have consistently failed. The item was discovered in a nursing home in Blank, Alberta, after a resident named Muriel Blank called a local news station about a magic vending machine. The news story reported that the nursing home's staff was purposefully stocking the machine with distinctive food and objects as a way to raise resident spirits. The Bureau's response team encouraged a story while confiscating the item. Where are you going?
Shit. Now what? What is that?
Come on, elevator, time to go.
That was a fun puzzle boss.
Arcade machines. Shoom. Shoom. Whatever.
Shoom. Time is it anyway? Okay. Oh jeez. Oh boy. Oh. Ah, damn it. Alright. Break time.